Hello, everyone. Welcome to What the Church Won't Say,
where we have difficult conversations at the foot of the cross.
Hey, I am your host, Nathaniel Plenty.
Woo!
To the right is Ridiculous Nicholas Rendon. To the left is Carla the Boss Barnett, my sister, and we got a great episode for you. We gonna be talking about is the pursuit of happiness destroying people's lives. We gonna get into it. You ain't gonna want to miss it right after this shameless plug. Stay tuned.
Your bricks in danger, your chicks in danger. See, he will change ya if you come hang with us. So put that weight up and get your weight up. We not haters, no, we just dangerous.
We're back, and let's get into this conversation. What do y'all think? Everybody is chasing their happy. They chase. I must be happy. They making sacrifices for happy. They getting divorced for happy. They're leaving jobs or careers for happiness. They moving state to state for happiness. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Love and happiness.
Sing it.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you done singing?
Yeah.
Okay. So does God want you to be happy?
That's a good question.
Or does he want you to be miserable?
I think we can...
Effective and miserable.
I don't think miserable is even on the table.
Okay. So he does want you to be happy.
I don't think necessarily he views happiness from our perspective. I think he wants us to be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what does that mean?
I think...
And aren't they synonymous?
They're not.
Okay.
I think happiness. Let's talk about happiness. Let's start with that. Mm-hmm. Happiness comes from the root word happen or happenstance. Mm-hmm. So something must be happening
around you,
circumstantial,
right,
to make you feel content, fulfilled, bliss. Mm-hmm. That something must be happening all the time. Mm-hmm. So is God interested in us being happy? No, because God is actually going to allow things to come our way that's not going to favor us circumstantially. So let's just be honest. Let's look at the life of Paul, for example. When he gave his life to the Lord, he said, "This man must suffer many things for my name's sake." So happiness went out the door.
You gotta suffer.
Yeah, that's what you're created to suffer.
Sweet Lord,
you're created for my name's sake. So. We have to say there's other people that God has called to that. So if they're waiting on circumstances to align to be fulfilled, to be joyous, then no, they're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
But when Paul can write these letters
locked up
in prison, and not the prison we know where they got cable TV and and they got a fan and nothing. We ain't talking about that.
They had toilets too. They have toilets in the prison system.
We talking about now?
Now.
Yeah,
I don't think he had the luxury of the
toilet.
I'm
just saying, yeah, it was a way more brutal prison system.
Right.
And even sometimes you'll be locked up inside your cell.
Right.
In stocks.
Right.
What they call them. What I'm saying is, but he wrote the most beautiful, joyous, loving, exciting scriptures to us, encouraging other people while he's going through what he's going through.
Yeah.
And he seemed very fulfilled and content. And he said, "There's one thing I learned, whether I have much or little, I can be content. I'm content." So I guess my question in all of this is happiness the goal? Should happiness be the goal?
I don't think so. I think another definition of happiness is eudonia, and it means it's Greek.
Cussing?
Eudonia, and it's y'all know what. It's Greek for flourishing, and I don't think that in life flourishing.
Gotcha.
And I don't think in life you will always flourish. I think happiness can be temporary. I think if somebody give me a nice gift, it makes me happy. I think if somebody tells me I'm beautiful, it makes me happy. I think if somebody tells me I'm ugly, that'll take away the happiness. Right. You know what I mean? I think happiness can be temporary.
Right.
I also think that's a lot of reason for the divorce rate. Because you don't make me happy anymore.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not happy. So, and this person over here makes me happy.
Right.
So, and all of it is temporary.
It is.
So I think to answer your question, I don't feel like God, again, I agree with you that God ever said we were going to be happy.
No.
Joyful, Yes. Happy.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What is joy then? What is the difference between joy and happiness? How are they different?
So, because I feel like when you have a amazing relationship with God, when you have a relationship with God, you can go through some very dark times, and that doesn't mean that joy is not temporary. So
it's not
you might be
circumstantial.
right. You might be unhappy, but you have the joy of hope. You might be unhappy, but you have that joy of peace because you know something worse can be happening. You know, I think the difference is joy is permanent and it's a gift. You know, I don't know if everybody has it. You know, I feel like, well, I know everybody doesn't have it if you don't have the Spirit of God.
Right.
So that's what I feel like the difference is. I feel like joy is a characteristic of God. It's not the Holy Spirit, and that
A fruit of the Spirit.
fruit of the Spirit.
It's a
Yeah.
fruit
Joy.
of the Spirit. Yeah, joy
Yeah.
is.
Because I've been happy. I've been joyful in dark times.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right? I've still worshiped God when things are hard, when things
Let me
are
tell you,
dark.
sometimes that was some of my most joyous times. Is when it was dark because I didn't have much to distract me.
Right.
I didn't have much time I was consuming to get something that was circumstantial. All I had was God.
Yeah.
And
I
so
was
what?
broke.
Yes.
And so what was, if you weren't happy, right? It wasn't circumstantial in those darkest times. Why do you think you were joyful? You said you weren't distracted.
Yeah.
And were you rather like more tuned and focused in on a specific
Yeah,
task?
I was totally focused on God. And I think when you hit rock bottom, when you don't have much, you can't afford, in my mind, you can't afford to sin. You can't afford to be distracted. I can't afford to invite devils into my life because I don't have much. So I can't, you know what I mean? I can't let you take the little I have.
Right.
So my focus was more laser sharp on God. And because I was looking at him, you know, staring at him, he was fulfilling me from the inside out. Matter of fact, people say to me all the time, well, hey man, pray for my peace. I can't. You know what I mean? It says, if you place your mind on me, I'll keep you in perfect peace. Like all of that stuff we're talking about, peace and joy, those things are just being in his presence, in his word. That's where the fruit of that is developed.
Yes.
And then what happens is you start having this joy spring up in you because of the relationship you have with him.
Yes.
Because I know I'm going to live forever. Because I know whatever comes my way, he's going to help me navigate.
Yes.
And knowing that it's all going to work out for my betterment,
Yes.
though it don't look like it, all of a sudden I'm feeling it rise up now as I'm talking about it. I find a spirit of that, like a geyser rising up out of me. And what happens, anybody around me, they get a piece of it.
Yes.
And I think what people miss out on it is joy is attractive.
It is.
It is.
When you with somebody that's genuinely just consumed with God and joyous, it's a light on them, and people that have it or don't want to have it want to be around you.
And that's where that attracts favor.
It does. That's a very good
Hand in hand.
bridge.
Yeah.
Joy and favor comes. It's like, man, I want to be in this dude's presence. I want to be around what's making him smile,
Right.
because it ain't circumstantial.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not flaky.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're happy, your happiness is always going to be like this.
Yep.
Because don't we go through seasons like this? Everything's working for me. Everything's falling apart. That's going to happen for the rest of your life.
Yes.
You know, in some form or
Yes.
fashion. So you're gonna be on this roller coaster of emotions, which is just nuts, and it's just unstable. And people don't like unstable people, especially when you're trying to be close to somebody, spend the rest of your life with them. What you don't want is a person that's unstable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the scripture that says, the joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yes.
Sometimes you're like, how in the world did I get through that?
Looking back, hindsight.
Yeah, looking back. And you're like, you realize it wasn't you. You know, you realize, man, that was horrible then, but how did it not feel so heavy at that time?
You know what? I don't know why this is coming to mind as you're saying that. God is taking me back to Peter walking on water. And people are like, how did I get through? How did I make it? How did I survive whatever you survive? And most of the time when you look at it is your eyes was fixed on Christ. Your eyes was so set on him that you thought you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
That you thought that you could pull off what he pulled
Yes.
off. And when you go back to that same scripture with Peter walking on water, it says when he's seen the winds and the waves,
And the boat, the shaky boat. and-
everything was just
Right.
topsy-turvy. Then what was you looking at a few seconds ago? Like, if it all of a sudden hit you, because it ain't just happened, it's
Right.
been that way.
Right.
So what was you looking at first? Christ.
Yep.
The moment he took his eyes off Christ and focused on his circumstances is when his faith withered away and he began to sink.
Which is what you talked about, which is what we're talking about. And I want to pinpoint relationships,
Okay.
because that's why they're up and down and all over the place, is because of that, because we do take our eyes off of Christ and put our eyes on that person, or put our eyes on what we're going through with that person. And I'm not even just talking about male female relationships. It could be with your kids, it could be with your family members. You got a lot of siblings. People tell me all the time, like, man, I love you and your brother and your sister's relationship. Well, yeah, me too. But I didn't realize so many people don't even talk to their siblings. Like, literally, I haven't talked to my such and such in years. We just don't speak. We don't see eye to eye.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's based on the
Seems
fact
like that's becoming more and more common these days.
yeah,
That disconnect.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Or even family members.
Well, let's talk about that, man, because you said something that I really want to touch on. Why all of a sudden family members, it wasn't that way at one time,
Right.
Right.
But we
that's
also
what
have
I'm
a way more sensitive generation, petty, taking little things and blowing them out of proportion.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that's a big deal. And it's going back, if you ask me, it's going back to this one thing, is you're seeing everything from the lens of your frustration. You're seeing everything from the lens of disappointment. You're seeing everything from the lens of expectation.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to be this way or do this for me, and you didn't. And now the whole relationship got to be squandered, and I'm not happy. But that's the key of it. I'm not happy. I'm not happy, so I don't want you happy.
Oh.
Misery loves company.
Always.
So, like in a marriage, what do you do when it takes two to tango?
Okay.
And so you're not happy, so you stay in a miserable marriage.
Well,
What is there a solution to that? What do you say to people out there that are struggling in marriage? And
when they said I'm not happy,
I'm not happy.
Okay.
Yeah, like she said earlier, I'm just not happy. So that person makes me happy. So
right, absolutely. But typically, if you're not finding purpose in something falling apart, it's typically because you're not focusing on that. Like I really believe when you're aligned, even when things ain't going perfectly, God gives you these little goals. He gives you these little beams of light, these little pieces of hope. Be patient. I'm working with her, son. Like I'm just saying, a man that's married and may not be happy with his wife, pray for her. I'm working with her. You know what I mean? Every time you may see her in the Word, you be like, okay, Dad, I do see her in the Word. I do see her going to church. That means you're molding her, you're shaping her to be more like you. So I can work with that. And in that, you can be fulfilled, because at this moment you may not be totally happy, but you got joy that that she's changing and God is in a situation. And that's all you need. God don't need much. He just say, bring a couple of them loaves of bread and a couple of sardines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to make a buffet. God don't need much. That's what. But as long as it'll bring me joy just to see if the person I'm married to is giving you something, God. That's enough for me.
And what about the covenant of marriage?
What about
I'm just saying that I feel like if we stop looking at that person again and start looking at, okay, this is a vow I made before God. It has nothing to do with you making me happy if he already fulfilling me. It has nothing to do with what you've done. Now, unless you cheat or commit adultery or something like that I get. But you're talking, oh man, you sleep wrong on that side of the bed. Oh man, you snore, or you left the toilet. Petty stuff like that. I feel like that shouldn't dissolve a marriage.
No.
Or you know what, you don't spend enough time with me. Okay.
Right.
Go get a dog. I mean, I don't know what this, I just feel like sometimes it's people dissolve marriages for the dumbest. I'm saying dumb. For the pettiest reasons. I'm gonna use that word. For the pettiest reasons, and I feel like if we just look at God and look at, okay, my covenant is with Him,
Absolutely.
and then that I'm gonna stay faithful to this.
I believe that happens because most people that leave because they're not happy got into it for the wrong reason. If you get back to why did you get married? And I hate hearing when people, I say, why did you marry the person? They smart, or I love them.
They really can't remember why. They really don't know why.
I love them. What? For real?
So love is not enough to sustain any relationship.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Love is
No.
not even,
No, definitely not.
That's where a lot of people are.
I'm in
For
love.
years.
I've been that
Decades.
person, so that's why I can
We
tell
all
you
been
no.
that person.
Right.
It's in love.
Absolutely not.
Right. But I mean, but
What's love got to do with it?
Well, yeah.
because
Sing it, Tina.
I'm gonna say it, in my darkest times, there's been people I love that was cancers to me.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
Yes,
that was
I
people
agree.
that made my toes curls, but they was my nemesis. No, man, honest though. Let's
Yeah,
be
I
honest.
got you.
There were people that I really loved,
Nemesis.
but they was not good for me. And so let's get past the whole why I could love anybody.
Right.
You should be able to love anybody. But the key of the matter is, who makes me a better version of myself? Who helps me fulfill God's purpose? Who helps me? Who's going to hold me accountable when I'm slipping?
Yes.
Who can help me walk out what He's called me to do? If you get to that, you'll be fulfilled. I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing more fulfilling, and I don't care what it is. You can bring sex, drugs, money, whatever. The most fulfilling you'll ever be is when you're doing the thing you were created to do.
Yes.
You
Yes.
feel alive,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I don't care who's in the room or
Yes.
not in the room,
Yes.
you'll feel alive. So
Yes.
if you're doing that thing and the person you marry is assisting you in doing that thing,
Lord
y'all
have
both
mercy.
feeling alive.
Oh my goodness.
Man, that's gonna be your high. You're gonna want to do more of that. Then,
Yes.
then you invite people into it when they say, man, what you're doing is blessing me. What you're saying is blessing me.
Yes.
Are you serious? It's nothing more than I want to do. I'm blessing other people and I'm being fulfilled and she's being fulfilled. If you can find whatever that is between a couple and put all your energy and efforts and talents
Into
into
purpose.
that, into purpose,
Tag team it.
it's going to be difficult for y'all to get a divorce.
Yeah.
But if it's all based on when the lights go out and your warm body and we get the Netflix and eat and relax and laugh and joke, if that is the heart of your relationship, there's nothing wrong with those things. But if that's the primary cornerstone of your relationship, it's just a matter of time before they can't do that, won't do that. It's no longer fun for them, but
Gets
it may be
old.
fun for you. It gets old. So guess what? They don't make you happy.
Yes.
There's too much attention. There's too much focus on that one person.
Exactly.
And really, that's unfair to put that kind of a burden on one person to constantly do that just because it makes you happy.
And guess what? I just never noticed that the middle of your mustache is a lighter than the outside of your mustache.
You know what? It doesn't grow. So there's this Mexican dude back in the day. He had a TV show.
Okay.
His name's Cantinflas.
Okay.
And that's what they always called me growing up, you know.
Oh wow! I only said that
Yeah.
to say
Shout out to Latinos out there that know who Cantinflas is.
right, but I only said that to say this.
Uh-huh.
Me looking at you and staring at you, I saw that flaw. And I think when in relationships, when you just got so much focus on a person, you start to see their flaws. It got to be a balance between I got my eyes on God and what He's called me to do, and let's do it together. And I'm not sitting there staring in your face
At my mustache.
at your mustache and your weird lips.
Okay.
I'm not looking at all of that.
So my stash doesn't do it for you anymore?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I thought you had a whole stash. You really got a half stash.
Okay.
But my whole point is people are staring in people's lives and wondering why they're picking them apart mentally.
Everybody knows I have a hair stash.
I think that happiness can also be a distraction. because
It's good stuff.
Satan can use that to, if you're getting everything that you feel you want in this
You're drunk
person,
off illusion.
you're right. And it's distracting you from your purpose,
Yeah.
because now your eyes are, oh, this is making me happy. Oh, listen to what he's saying. Oh, listen to what she's saying. Oh my gosh, she's cooking me dinner. What? Oh my God,
We'll
he's
get
going
back
to
to
take me to
purpose
the
later.
movies. Right. So now you're distracted from where you originally was.
So let me ask y'all this, y'all. Are y'all happy?
No.
I think I am.
You're
You're happy?
At this moment.
In this moment.
Yeah, in this moment, I'm
Are you
happy.
asking in this moment or in general?
I mean, I would be so deep. No,
Sorry.
this is exactly right now. Are you
get deep,
happy?
philosophical. That's why we do this.
Right.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm happy.
Okay.
Are you happy? Why are you happy?
Because I'm sitting here with my brothers on a podcast talking about Jesus and what the church won't.
Love it.
Say.
I love it. I ask myself that question a lot of times. Like, am I really happy?
And do you come up with the same answer every time?
I don't.
You don't.
No, because it depends on what type of, am I walking in the spirit or am I walking in the flesh? When I'm really aligned with God, I don't really even probably ask that question as much because I'm so fulfilled.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? But when I'm going through a season where I'm in the flesh, it's always about, I don't know what's going on, what my money looking like, and what I'm saying is you can go back and forth and not even know it.
Yep.
You know, when I'm really filled with God, that's not even a question. Am I happy? I'm elated.
Right.
I'm filled.
Right.
That's a better word. I'm filled.
Right.
You know?
And when you filled, you don't have time to think about if
No.
you're happy, because it's something so bigger than yourself.
It is.
You know, it's not about you. When you learn that, man, life changes.
It does.
Yeah, because you don't care if you're happy or not.
Right.
You know, I actually probably care more about it if you're happy
That's
than if
good.
I'm happy. If I'm filled with Christ's spirit, or if my mind is so focused on Him, I'll care more about you guys than I will myself. Non-CP.
So I want to throw this out here because I know a lot of people are going through career changes because they're not happy. Do y'all advise that?
Because they're not happy?
They're not happy.
No. I wouldn't advise it.
Why is that?
Let me tell you why. Because that happened to me. Of course, I've been at my job for 20 years, and it was a time when I hated walking in there. And fast forward 20 years later, I go in there, hi, everybody. Things change. You know, happiness changes. Bosses change. You may be happy with that one. You may not be happy with the next one. I mean, I can't base making such a huge decision based on my feelings at the moment, because that's what happiness is.
And based off a season. I feel like there's always pockets of season where things don't go well and where they do go well.
Yes.
And as people, we're so focused on the negatives that we forget the positive.
Yes.
Even in relationships, when you have a situation go down with somebody, you always remember the when y'all bumped heads and rarely the good times. That's how you typically remember people.
Yeah, that's
so
what
true.
sticks out the most.
It does. It does. And when we're that way on our careers, we'll have this one season where everything's going bad, and you forget about the 7 years where everything was smooth.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and everything's always going to change, and you can't make decisions off of that. But this is the question I always ask when it comes to a job, and mostly anything. Did God put me here?
That's good.
Because I'll use you for an example. I was working a job that I did not like for a whole year, and I couldn't stand it, but I couldn't leave. And I couldn't leave until you gave your life to the Lord.
Right.
What would have happened if I would have quit because I didn't like it?
Wow, that's good.
You would may not have been sitting here today, maybe, you know. But my whole point of that is I had to bite the bullet and do something I didn't like because there was something bigger while I was there.
You know, I think it's different when it comes to a career. I think because I'm in a similar situation right now where I'm trying to switch because I'm so aggravated, and it's been there for a while and it's become monotonous, and I'm like I feel complacent, and so even if I wanted to leave, I don't think I could until I understand what I'm supposed to understand. You know, so I don't think God
That's
would,
wise.
you know, so you can try, you know, if you want to change careers. I think just certain things just won't line up. When you're looking for a job and career, timing is everything.
Yes.
You know, so you might be there for a reason, and so instead of complaining and trying to get out of it, just go with the flow, right? And change your attitude, you know, because promotion comes from God.
It does.
So it's got nothing to do with you and how many applications and how many referrals or letter of recommendations you have. It has everything to do with Him and Him promoting you. Nothing else.
And to that point, I think we just too quick to just assume everything versus asking. Have I learned everything you wanted me to learn? Have I touched the people I should have touched on this job? Why am I still here? Because once you start asking them questions, you can get to the bottom of, and you won't be mad like, my God, I'm being underpaid. No. You've been underpaid because there's something I need you to do. There's something I need you to obtain. There's something I need you to learn. There's a character flaw I need you to fix.
Yeah.
Those things is the conversations you need to be having, and not necessarily this person don't make me happy.
Yes.
Because God is not guaranteeing happiness, but He is guaranteeing fulfillment if you're walking that life.
And I think it could be flip. I think it could be a flip side to that too. We could be too complacent.
Yeah.
You know, we could be too comfortable, and God got to make things uncomfortable to shake us up out of our seat.
And make us uncomfortable.
And I can attest to that.
Me too.
You know,
Yeah.
because
Me
I think
too.
I'm starting to be that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm good, like easy, you know.
Right.
But I'm starting to feel like, man, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like I don't wanna?
He did that to me. I was on a job making great money, 10 minutes from my house, enjoyed the job. It was fulfilling. It was something that I did well. And all of a sudden he changed management. He changed who my supervisor was. And now I had a different type of supervisor that was different, micromanaging. And he just shook the boat. And the whole reason why he shook the boat, because I no longer was supposed to have been there. I was supposed to move on, and he was trying to prick my heart to say move, but I'm like, hey, this is sweet.
Right.
Right.
I ain't going nowhere.
Run that, I'm retiring here.
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole time with God, like, okay, I'm gonna make it uncomfortable where you want to fly out the nest. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make it uncomfortable where you don't want to be here, and that's exactly what it is. The whole attitude of management changed. It went from them cheerleading, like, yeah, you're a good employee, to what are you doing? You're horrible. You know what I mean? Like, what happened? And I'm sitting there looking, and the funny part is, my new supervisor was supposed to be a pastor. So I'm like,
Wow.
but God was like, I use whoever I need to get you where I want you to be.
Wow.
And I think sometimes we miss that. We think we're fighting against this person when someone's pulling the strings to move us where we're supposed to be.
That's good. That's so good.
Absolutely. So I want to end on that note, ladies and gentlemen. I want to hear from you guys. Again, What the Church Won't Say have a segment coming up where we're going to be answering your questions. So send them in to What the Church Won't Say, yahoo.com. We're going to be answering questions about relationships, marriage, being single, how to be single and pure, and any questions you have, we're going to do it how we always do it. Hey, don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, and share this with people that need it. And you best believe we're going to continue to say
What the church won't say.
Love y'all.
Peace.
All right.
We doing it over?
Could you see yourself?
Right. Is there
You did it
a
like a
mirror?
mirror.
over there?
I think can.
Oh, okay.
All right. And you was able to see your teeth from that distance.
Right.
Listen, I will get it right into the conversation. What do y'all think? Everybody is talking about chasing their happy, making sacrifices for their happy. Do y'all think this is a good thing or is this a bad thing?
Or does God want you to be happy? Or does He want you to be miserable? What do you think?
Why so extreme?